Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle, your host of the Industry Edge podcast, where we talk with leaders working in the hardest working industries like manufacturing, distribution, construction, and more. This episode is brought to you by KNC Marketing. KNC is a full service marketing agency that partners with B2B companies to either serve as a fully outsourced marketing department or supplement their in house marketing team. To learn more about KNC's brand development, marketing, and website design services, visit kncmarketingagency.com. Today I have Chad Franzen here from Rise 25, who has done thousands of interviews with successful entrepreneurs and CEOs. And we've flipped the script, and today he will be interviewing me. So, Chad, welcome to the show.
Hey, Michelle, thanks so much. Great to be here. Good to talk to you. Hey, I'm looking forward to finding out a little bit more about you and about KNC Marketing. Tell me, what kind of drew you to marketing and maybe even brand strategy as a career path?
So, I originally thought I was going to be somewhere in the media industry. My degree's in public relations, and I have a minor in marketing. And I kind of stayed away from a marketing major going through college just because I didn't really have a ton of interest in the business side, primarily math. It's not my best subject in school. But as I went through college, I realized that I really enjoy writing and creating and a little bit of the business side in it. And so right out of college, I kind of naturally fell into marketing and had some great opportunities early on in my career that set the foundation for what was next.
I know you've worked with some pretty big brands, like
Nissan, other places like that.
prior to founding KNC Marketing. How did those kind of experiences help shape?
You do today.
Working for big brands early on in my career really gave me a view into all of the possibilities of marketing, really, and all the different avenues that it can take, and not just the fact of the marketing tactics that a consumer would see, but also things like the different channels that you talk to your customers in, or you talk to your distributors in, or even internal marketing. So big brands really gave me visibility into so many different avenues of marketing, and I just fell in love with everything that it could be. So it was a great opportunity early on to see how it can be done at the highest level, at the global level. And it was a lot, but it was a really rewarding experience to have worked for some great brands early on.
Yeah, I saw that when you were working with Bridgestone, you were part of the inaugural Bridgestone intrapreneur team. Tell me about that. What was that, and what did you learn from that?
Yes. So, my close colleagues, Justin Hayes and Joey Leslie, we worked closely together in different departments. One was an engineer, one was in marketing, but different sides of the marketing team, and a couple of other young folks in the building were selected to be part of an internal team that really was just kind of a think tank where we had the opportunity to dream about what could be. And in the tire industry, it's obviously a commodity. Everyone needs tires. There was innovation on the product side, but on the consumer side, not a ton of innovation happening there. What we had the opportunity to do was just get together every few weeks and just dream. And an idea that came out of that group was mobile tire installation. It was something that was not happening back then, and now I think it kind of came out of the that group really. But I've seen some Firestone, Bridgestone mobile tire installation vans, in the city that I live in, and it's really rewarding to think that number one, that a big organization gave really young members of the team the opportunity to just dream. And then number two, that we had so many great ideas come out of this group, and that some of them actually came to fruition long after many of us had moved on in our careers to other opportunities. But it was a really great opportunity to bring some big ideas to the table for a really big company.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. It's always been my dream to be part of a think tank. It hasn't quite worked out for me yet. Hey, what kind of inspired you then to co-found KNC Marketing?
Well, I was kind of accidentally drug into it, is what I say. My partner and cousin Danielle was laid off, and she said, let's try our own thing." And I was a little bit nervous. I had a 1-year old at the time, and I had always worked for big brands and in cubicles, and that felt very safe. And so what I told her, I said, let's put up a website, let's see what happens. And within 2 months, I was able to quit my full-time job and come over to KNC, and it has just grown since then. But for me, it wasn't something that I ever dreamed of doing, or building a business wasn't really in the cards for me, or so I thought. And it happened in a way that I didn't expect, but it's been great.
I see your logo there in the office behind you. What's the meaning behind the name KNC Marketing?
So KNC, we originally started as Keckler, Neely and Co. And the reason why we were just two freelance consultants. And the reason why we named our business that was because both of our husbands were from the area that we live in now. And we said, people recognize those last names. And maybe if we just call our business that, people will know who we are and trust us. And then as we grew, we added more people to the team, and we realized that we needed a brand that could stand on its own and kind of pull us um, out of the forefront a little bit, and put more emphasis on the team and the capabilities of our team. And something that we wanted to do with our new name was to bring the past 5 years, or the first 5 years of our business with us. And if you see the shape in our logo, it kind of looks like a orange or a lemon. And Danielle and I are from California, and so we wanted to give a little nod to the citrus groves in California through our logo. So that's what that shape means.
Yeah, great. So I spoke to Danielle, and she said kind of her strength within your partnership is like the creative side. What would you say your strength is?
My strength is probably more on the strategy and business development side. I love, number one, laying out things like forecasts and the large scale growth goals for our company, but also I love help doing that for our clients. So helping them understand like what's possible, what do we need to do to reach your goals from a sales and marketing perspective. And so my team helps with the how, and I really love thinking about what's possible, and then together we all execute as a team.
So from your perspective, kind of that strategic thinking perspective, I saw that you kind of focus on helping B2B companies build their brands, attract ideal customers, make more money, all those things like that. From your perspective, how does what are some of the challenges that B2B companies often face in those areas?
I think for many B2B companies, marketing is it's not an afterthought. They think about it and they want it. They just possibly don't have the resources to put toward it, or don't have the people in their organization that have that skill set. And so I think when you get an outside perspective, it's really, really powerful, because you can focus on whether it's manufacturing a product or distributing products or building buildings. You can focus on that, and then you have a whole other outside team of creative thinking people that can step in. And when you put the two together, it's really, really powerful. Because what we've seen in the industries that we've worked with, the so many of the employees within the organization are engineers, or they are more analytical mindset people, and they often don't have those creative thinkers in terms of like marketing creative. And so it having worked for manufacturers all throughout early in my career, and then now it's just been a natural fit for me to still work in those industries, because I understand it and I love it, and I realize how an outside perspective can make a really big impact for a B2B company.
Yeah, you talked about B2B industrial clients, manufacturing. What is it about that type of sector that is particularly rewarding for you?
I think that B2B, many of the B2B companies that we work with, they just make a huge impact in society. And whether it's, moving goods in a warehouse, or producing a product, or building a structure, they're things that really matter. And I think it's rewarding for me knowing that the things that we work on are kind of unseen in the general public, but they make such a huge impact on the day-to-day life. You know, if when you order a product, you don't really think about how it's made or how it's getting to you. You just want it. Um, and it's those kinds of industries that are in the background working so hard to make it happen. And so it's rewarding for me to be a part of that world. Also because the people that work in these facilities are some of the hardest working people I've ever met. And you know, when they go to work, a lot of the jobs are so physical or analytical. They have to think about output and efficiency and productivity and safety. And so being able to work with those people is just so rewarding for me.
Yeah, sounds great. So I know you guys emphasize the importance of a thoughtful process, bringing creativity and strategic insight together to elevate a brand. Obviously, you said your strength is strategy, and Danielle's strength is creativity. So there you go. Can you provide an example of maybe how that process works in practice?
Sure. So I think a good example is how we build a brand strategy. And a lot of times clients will come to us and say, "Oh, I want to do social media or I want to do a video for my brand." And really we look at their entire situation and say, "What is your brand communicating to the world?" You know, what do people think of when they read the words on your website? Is it hitting them in an emotional way? Do they understand what you do? Do they understand how you can benefit them? Um, and a lot of times that answer is no. So what our job is, you know, we come in and we assess the whole situation and we say, you know, we want you to have fantastic social media. We want you to have a beautiful website that communicates clearly and drives leads and closes deals. But perhaps we need to take a couple steps back and look at your logo or your mission, vision, values, or your positioning within the marketplace. And so we bring a thoughtful process to that entire strategy building process. And we try to start from the foundations and build from there. And it's possible to achieve growth really quickly. And you can fire at a couple different angles at the same time, but it's really important to think strategically about what you do first, what you do second, what you do third, and how much is it going to cost and how long is it going to take to get where you want to go. And so we try to be really thoughtful about, you know, what is this going to cost? How much time is it going to take to accomplish this or that? And how can we get where we want to go at the rate that we want to go at in a way that makes sense?
I saw that you talked about, putting together a beautiful, effective website. I saw that you guys have kind of like a 5-step website design process. Can you take us through that?
Sure. So what we do is first we start with understanding your customer, and that involves doing research. We try to understand what are your competitors, where are your competitors positioned in the market, and what messages are they communicating? What is their pricing? What is their product? What is their promotion? You know, the 3 P's of marketing. And then when we're laying out a plan for building a website, we do keyword research. So we have the best opportunity to be found in organic search from the get-go. And then we move into building content or building visuals if we need photography, video. And our team handles all the content in-house. So we try to take that information from the SEO keyword research study and infuse those keywords into the content. So you have the best opportunity of being seen organically from the start, building in branded images and videos or whatever we're able to produce in that process. And then from there, then we go into the design and functionality part of the website build where we've already done so much pre-work that we know the website's going to be working hard from a visual perspective, from a search perspective. And then we actually build the beautiful, fun, interactive design part. And then the last key, most important piece is having analytics on your site where post-launch, we're going to understand what's happening, what content needs to be added, how are users interacting with your website, and what tweaks can we make along the way to make it a better experience for your customers. A website should not be a set it and forget it type thing, and we don't approach it that way. The way that we approach it is we build it and then we assess and then we improve over time. And we use analytics to make those assessments. So from start to finish, we have a really thoughtful and creative path that we take our clients through, and that doesn't end when the website is launched. It's an ongoing process.
Very nice. So I saw that you guys offer workshops, kind of mission, vision, and values workshops. That might not be the first thing that comes to people's mind when they, join or start working with a marketing agency. Why are those important from your perspective?
It really is a foundational element of a company. And what we've seen is that many times the mission and vision and values are not infused throughout the culture of a company, which is such an important element of, retention, attracting new talent. And so when we were starting our business, we were helping clients either with their social or with their websites or general branding. And we realized there was this big gap where the mission, vision, and values were just kind of overlooked as okay, we have it, we don't do anything with it. And so what we did, we started doing workshops where we would come in and really walk either the leadership team or key stakeholders within the organization through a thoughtful process that helps dig out those culture elements or the key values that are important to the company, and then format them in a way that is actionable. And so what we saw in working with companies is that most of the time people don't have copywriters on staff, or they have trouble getting their thoughts on paper. And so what these sessions would turn into, if they were trying to do it internally, was just a wordsmith session. And people would walk out of that session saying, well, that was a waste of time. So what we wanted to do was create a structure for getting all of these thoughts and emotions and feelings out of a team. And then we would put it all on paper, come back to our office and collaborate with our team to lay out mission, vision, and values, and then bring it back to that team. And then they're able to truly evaluate, does this fit or does it not? So it's an opportunity for a leadership team or key stakeholders to actually think through, does this feel right, versus trying to wordsmith in a live meeting that usually doesn't get very far.
Sure, sure. So I know you have some experience you have great experience in digital marketing, content marketing, social media. Um, are there maybe some trends and opportunities in these areas for B2B companies in the upcoming years?
Absolutely. I think a common misconception is that a B2B company cannot execute marketing in the same way a B2C company is or can, and that's not necessarily true. It's different sometimes. It doesn't always make sense for a B2B company to run a TV commercial, but it does make sense for them to have a really awesome booth at a trade show or a really great thought leadership article in an industry magazine. And so it's similar and different. And I like to say, like, where are your customers hanging out and what do they need to hear from you? And so the way that we approach that is just find out where your ideal customer is, and then let's go hang out where they're hanging out and talk about the things that matter most to them.
How do you guys kind of ensure that marketing efforts are, results driven or deliver kind of ROI for your clients?
We track everything, whether it's web traffic or social media metrics, or if we do a promotion, what were the sales that came from that promotion, and everything possible we try to track. And what I like to tell our clients is that marketing is an art and a science. There are so many creative aspects to it, and that's what you see and feel when you see a piece of content. But the science part of it is the data. And for anybody out there that's not working with an agency that potentially wants to, I think the most important thing you can ask a marketing agency is, how do you track what you do and how do you evaluate that? And sometimes you have to be uncomfortable a little bit with the art side of things, because some things are, if especially in B2B, it takes multiple touches to create a conversion or a transaction. And so what's important is just consistency over time. And so then you can kind of evaluate, okay, well, we emailed this person 3 times before they actually took action and clicked through to our website. So the art side of it is understanding your ideal customer's behavior, but the science part of it is actually tracking being consistent, and then making tweaks to your process as you learn more and more from your customers over time.
So not only does KNC Marketing help its clients attract other clients, but you also help them attract top talent, attract and retain top talent. What advice do you have for a B2B company that's maybe struggling in that regard?
My advice would be invest in your team in terms of communicating with them effectively. I think post-pandemic, turnover has just accelerated. People expect a lot from their employers in terms of perks and pay and all of those things. Sometimes it comes down to, does this company align with my values? Do I believe what they're doing? Do I feel informed in my role to understand the vision of the company? And I think that's where a lot of B2B companies get it wrong, is that they're not communicating their values. They're not communicating the vision of the company or what happened in the past quarter. And I think having a structured way of communicating with your team helps with retention. It helps with morale. It a lot of times, if you don't communicate what you're doing as a leader, people tend to kind of write their own story in their head. And so if you can guide that narrative or answer questions that maybe someone is afraid to ask, or they're nervous, or the marketplace is a little unsteady, by the leader taking the proactive approach to actually telling the story and infusing the values and culture into the company, it only makes people feel more confident in what they're doing in their role, and brings a sense of camaraderie, a sense of value to their everyday. And it's incredibly important, no matter the industry, to do that. But in B2B, a lot of times your team is in the warehouse or they're on the manufacturing line. They're working all day long on their feet. They're tired. And so I think finding the ways to love on your team and communicate with your team in a way that makes sense for your organization is extremely important.
Very nice. How would you say, maybe since you founded it, how has KNC evolved, or what's maybe the biggest evolution you guys have seen?
Oh, the biggest evolution, I think, well, internally we've grown as a team to a team of 2 freelancers
Mhm.
to 5+ individuals on our team. Externally, I think the market has just changed so much since the pandemic. Our first couple of years were when everybody was working from home, and here locally in Nashville, we had a tornado, and that really kind of shifted how people here in our town worked. Um, Many people worked from home, their buildings were being rebuilt. But I would say since we've grown, our geography has expanded. Our clients have really had trouble, or not our clients necessarily, but B2B, we've seen a lot of trouble in retention. It's just hard to keep people around. And then also inflation has been so high, and just producing products has become a lot more challenging. Moving goods has become a lot more challenging. And so I think finding ways to be efficient and to be productive, to still make a splash or be innovative in whatever industry you're in, is really, really important, because things have only accelerated.
Mhm.
And there's been ups and downs in the market since we've been a company, but the thing that has not changed is that the fact that a customer understanding what you do and how you can help them has never changed. And so, no matter the budget, no matter what's happening in the market, I think continuing to speak to your customers and to add value to their lives is super important.
Okay, very nice. Hey, Michelle, it's been great to talk to you. Thank you so much for having me today. Really appreciate it.
Ed, appreciate you.
So long, everybody.